Hello everyone and welcome to my The Young and the Restless official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Young and the Restless exposes that Victor Newman's latest move to reclaim his legacy is absolutely despicable, and while he might get some of what he lost back, it could cost him something much more important: his marriage to Nikki Newman. We're going to talk about how kidnapping Jack Abbott could end Victor's marriage once Nikki finds out what he's done. Okay, so this week, Victor summoned Billy Abbott to the Newman ranch and told him no one's ever gonna see Jack again unless Billy hands Chancellor back to Victor by the end of the day. Billy can tell Victor's not bluffing and immediately runs to the Abbott mansion to tell Diane Jenkins and Kyle Abbott. Then Diane took off with Kyle to the Newman ranch to confront Victor. He told them that Jack is safe for now, but Billy Boy needs to give Chancellor back to secure Jack's safety. What Victor did with Jack is wild. He's on a yacht in the middle of the ocean. After Kyle and Diane got no answers on Jack's location, they left. Plus, Victor confirmed for Adam Newman that he kidnapped Jack and will hurt him if he doesn't get what he wants. And Victor wouldn't tell Adam where he's holding Jack. Victor may worry that Adam's past loyalties to Jack would be a problem, but Victor is gonna have lots more problems over this kidnapping. So Jack woke up in a bedroom with the door locked and looks out the window and sees nothing but open water. You know what would be really ironic? If the yacht that Victor's using for the kidnapping is the same one Billy lost gambling. Remember that? He named it Jabot. So for now, Jack's safe, but obviously there's going to be someone else on the boat babysitting him. I suspect it'll be crazy Patty Williams since she's due to be back soon. But we'll see. Billy ran to tell Sally Spectra what Victor's done, and Billy said even if he wanted to give Chancellor to Victor, he can't because Phyllis Summers still owns it. But it also sounds like Billy doesn't want to hand it over. And if Phyllis finds out Billy's just going to give it back to Victor, she might not finish the deal. But there's a chance that Diane might go to Phyllis and beg her to give Chancellor to Victor. I mean, of anyone in Genoa City, Phyllis knows about Jack being kidnapped. Remember, Victor married her off to Jack's doppelganger Marco the last time Victor kidnapped Jack. And while I'm sure that Phyllis doesn't want Jack in harm's way, Victor pulling this again is likely just going to remind Phyllis of why she hates Victor so much. I'm sure Jack will eventually be returned safe and sound, but he might be a little worse for wear, and I suspect the fallout from what Victor's done to be epic. No one will support him kidnapping Jack, not even Adam, and he always caves to whatever Victor wants. But if Jack winds up seriously injured, that might be a deal breaker for Adam. Of course, his bio dad hates it, but Jack's a father figure to Adam and was there for him at times when Victor was not. Adam may take a step back from Victor over this kidnapping on Young and the Restless. Then there's Nikki, who told Jack she was really worried that Victor would do something she can never forgive because of this crisis. When she finds out Victor kidnapped and stranded Jack in the middle of the ocean, she'll be horrified and appalled. Nikki loves Victor and usually enables him, but I think this will just be pushing Nikki way too far. Victor could really lose Nikki this time, at least for a while. I think Nick Newman won't like Victor's actions, but Nick's got other problems like a fentanyl addiction and getting rid of Matt Clark for good. And I don't think Victoria Newman will take this kidnapping very well either. She has no issue slapping at Billy, but kidnapping Jack is a no-go. As for Claire Grace Newman, she idolizes her granddad Victor, but she hates when he does ruthless and devious things. This may remind Claire of the worst of Victor, like when he tried to get Order Charles to seduce Kyle for a big payoff. In fact, Claire was ready to wash her hands of Victor but then forgave him. So Claire's going to be absolutely horrified to hear what Victor did to Jack, who she really likes, and I think Claire's going to hear about it soon because I suspect Kyle may turn to her for help in finding Jack. So Claire might march over to Victor and tell him to stop this now, to return Jack unharmed, or he's going to lose Claire for good. I expect Diane to confront Nikki and demand she fix this too. Of course, it's awful for Victor to kidnap anyone, but this is so unfair because Jack didn't do anything wrong at all. Victor just hates him and is using him to get Chancellor back from Billy. But to be honest, I think Victor was just looking for a chance to hurt Jack because he's still salty that he saved Nikki's life. Plus, Victor blew up when he saw Jack and Nikki hugging at the ranch house. In the end, Victor will try and rationalize what he's done and will explode when his family questions him. In the end, I think kidnapping Jack could have many Newmans stepping back from Victor. He'll explain he's just trying to get Chancellor back for Nikki. And I think Victor will play the victim card and the family loyalty card about all Abbotts being the enemy. But I'm not sure it's going to fly with Victor's family. He is just so far out of control, it's insane. He's losing a war that he started and is getting worse by the day. This will be a breaking point for Nikki and she may feel like she has no choice to walk away from Victor. He violated her trust by taking Jack, who literally saved her life. Even if Victor ends up getting everything back that was taken, Newman Enterprises, Chancellor and Newman Media, he may lose Nikki. Will it be worth it? On private, Young and the Restless, Victor Newman is stepping into dangerous territory once again, and this time his quest to reclaim his empire might cost him far more than he ever imagined. In a move that is equal parts audacious and cruel, Victor has kidnapped Jack Abbott, holding him hostage in a plot that could shatter not just alliances but his own marriage to Nikki Newman. It's a bold gamble, a chess move that could reclaim pieces of his legacy, but at a price that Victor may never recover from. The tension hangs thick over Genoa City as the web of deceit stretches from the Newman Ranch to the Abbott Mansion, and every character caught in between feels the reverberations of Victor's ruthless ambition. The week begins with Victor summoning Billy Abbott to the Newman Ranch with a chilling ultimatum. No one will ever see Jack again unless you hand Chancellor back to me by the end of the day. There's no bluff in Victor's eyes, and Billy can feel the weight of the threat pressing down like a storm about to break. He bolts to the Abbott mansion, the urgency of the situation etched across his face, to warn Diane Jenkins and Kyle Abbott. Diane, driven by fear and fierce loyalty, immediately takes Kyle and heads straight to the Newman Ranch, ready to confront Victor. There, they are met with a maddening calm from Victor, who tells them Jack is safe for now, but only Billy can secure that safety by returning what Victor wants. And what Victor has done with Jack is beyond imagination. He is stranded on a yacht in the middle of the ocean, a gilded prison surrounded by nothing but endless water. Kyle and Diane leave the ranch frustrated and empty-handed, as Victor's grip tightens and his plans spiral into the extraordinary. He confirms to Adam Newman that he is indeed holding Jack, and that harm will come if his demands aren't met. Yet even Adam, who has wrestled with divided loyalties, is kept in the dark about the exact location, a silent witness to Victor's mounting obsession. Victor may worry about Adam's history with Jack, the unspoken bond that could complicate his scheme, but in truth, this kidnapping is only the beginning of a cascade of problems he cannot anticipate. Jack awakens in his locked cabin, staring out at the open sea, the horizon a vast, indifferent void. The irony is almost poetic. The yacht Victor now commands may very well be the same one Billy lost gambling, named Jabot, a symbolic nod to past missteps now repurposed into a vessel of captivity. While Jack waits, unseen yet vulnerable, the chessboard of Genoa City begins to stir. Billy races to inform Sally Spectra of Victor's audacity, grappling with a cruel reality. Even if he wanted to comply, he can't return Chancellor because Phyllis Summers still holds ownership. There's hesitation, defiance, and the tangled loyalties of those around him, creating an impossible dilemma. Diane might even consider turning to Phyllis, pleading for Chancellor to be handed over in hopes of saving Jack. But Victor's shadow looms over every decision, a stark reminder of why Phyllis once despised him. Memories surface like the last time Victor orchestrated a kidnapping, forcing Phyllis into marriage with Jack's doppelganger, Marco illustrating that history may be doomed to repeat itself. Phyllis knows the stakes, knows the cruelty that Victor is capable of, and the thought of reliving such terror sends shivers through the undercurrent of her decisions. Meanwhile, the ripple effect of Victor's choices begins to touch everyone connected to Jack. Adam, normally pliable under Victor's influence, finds himself conflicted. Jack has always been a steadfast figure in his life when Victor was absent, a father in all but blood. The kidnapping threatens to fracture Adam's allegiance, forcing him to reevaluate loyalties he once took for granted. Nikki, who loves Victor and has often enabled his worst impulses, is already on edge, sensing the storm before she even knows the full extent. When she discovers that Jack, the man who once saved her life, is stranded in the middle of the ocean because of Victor, horror and betrayal will consume her. This is a trust shattered in real time, a moral line crossed that even love cannot easily forgive. The emotional stakes are nothing short of catastrophic. The Newmans at large are bracing for impact. Victoria will have no tolerance for this level of ruthlessness. Slapping Billy may be one thing, but the calculated abduction of Jack crosses a line she cannot ignore. Claire, who idolizes her grandfather yet despises his devious extremes, will see in Victor's actions a reflection of his darkest impulses, echoes of the past when he manipulated and deceived for gain. Memories of Victor forcing Audra Charles to seduce Kyle for a payoff will only intensify her revulsion, a reminder that the man she admires can be monstrously ruthless. With Kyle desperate and uncertain, it is inevitable that Claire will be drawn into the hunt, her confrontation with Victor imminent, warning him that continued cruelty will cost him more than just his pride. It could cost him her love and respect forever. Diane, fueled by fear and moral outrage, may turn to Nikki as well, pleading for intervention in a crisis that shouldn't have existed. Jack's abduction is not a strategic move, it's a personal vendetta, born from Victor's lingering resentment over Jack saving Nikki's life and the tension of witnessing their closeness at the ranch. Every act of this scheme is a testament to Victor's unraveling, an empire builder succumbing to personal grudges, his rationalizations unraveling under scrutiny. When his family confronts him, Victor will likely attempt to spin the narrative, invoking family loyalty, the necessity of reclaiming Chancellor, and painting the Abbotts as adversaries. Yet even his own blood may resist, as the moral cost of his obsession eclipses any claim to strategic genius. Victor's world, once controlled and precise, is now teetering on the edge of collapse. Every calculated move threatens to backfire, and the consequences extend far beyond corporate power or material possession. Nikki stands at the precipice of her own breaking point, questioning whether love can survive betrayal of this magnitude. Even if Newman Enterprises Chancellor and Newman Media are restored, the emotional toll may leave Victor isolated, a man victorious in material terms, yet hollow and fractured in every human sense. The kidnapping of Jack Abbott is more than a dramatic power play, it is a reckoning, a test of loyalty, love and morality that will leave no Newman untouched. And it may well be the moment that changes Victor forever. The aftermath of Victor's audacious kidnapping begins to ripple through Genoa City like a shockwave, striking every corner of the Newman family and leaving no one untouched. Jack, trapped aboard the yacht, struggles not only with isolation but with the slow, creeping realization that he has been made a pawn in Victor's personal vendetta. Each wave lapping against the hull becomes a grim reminder that he is at the mercy of a man whose capacity for control and manipulation seems boundless. Even as Jack searches for a way to regain agency, he is confronted with the weight of betrayal, not just from Victor, but from the circumstances that have forced those he trusts into impossible positions. The ocean stretches endlessly before him, a mirror to the cold, calculated distance Victor has placed between him and safety, and Jack is left to reckon with the fear and uncertainty of what comes next. Back on land, Billy wrestles with a moral and emotional quandary that threatens to tear him apart from the inside out. He knows that handing Chancellor back could potentially save Jack's life, but the stakes are tangled with loyalty, pride, and the very real fear of empowering Victor once again. Each conversation with Diane and Sally carries a tension that feels almost unbearable, as if the walls of the city itself are holding their collective breath, waiting for the inevitable confrontation. Diane, driven by instinct and righteous anger, debates taking drastic action, knowing that Jack's life hangs by a thread. The family's inability to fully confront or control Victor only heightens the suspense, each passing hour thick with dread and unanswered questions. Adam, normally pliable and deferential to Victor, finds himself in a storm of conflicting emotions, torn between blood and conscience. Jack has been a stabilizing force in his life, a steady presence when Victor's influence has often been volatile and suffocating. Watching his surrogate father endure this orchestrated torment, Adam begins to question not just Victor's judgment, but the very foundation of his own loyalty. The tension builds silently, an undercurrent in every interaction, every pause, every glance. It's a test of Adam's moral compass and emotional allegiance, one that could redefine his relationship with Victor forever. Nikki, meanwhile, teeters on the edge of a breaking point that she has never truly faced before. Her love for Victor has always been intertwined with forgiveness, a willingness to enable his mistakes in the hope that his intentions are ultimately redeemable. But this, Jack stranded at sea, taken by Victor's hand, is an act that pierces too deeply, an unforgivable breach of trust that strikes at the core of her soul. The memory of Jack saving her life haunts her thoughts, a reminder that the man she loves has become capable of actions she cannot condone. Nikki's inner turmoil is palpable, her despair tempered by the fiery determination of a woman who must decide whether love is enough when morality and safety are on the line. Victoria and Claire are not immune to the storm either. Victoria's intolerance for Victor's ruthlessness becomes a sharp counterpoint to the chaos, a reminder that the consequences of power cannot exist in a vacuum. Claire, whose admiration for her grandfather has always been tempered by an awareness of his darkest impulses, feels a deep sense of horror at his actions. Memories of Victor's previous manipulations and schemes come rushing back, but this time the stakes are real, immediate, and potentially catastrophic. As Kyle reaches out to Claire for guidance and assistance, her resolve hardens. She knows that inaction is no longer an option. The confrontation with Victor becomes inevitable, a collision of conscience, family loyalty, and unflinching moral scrutiny. Diane and Nikki, in parallel yet intertwined struggles, represent the collective moral center, attempting to counterbalance Victor's tyranny. Diane's urgency and Nikki's simmering horror create a dynamic where the personal and the political intersect, forcing choices that carry real emotional and ethical weight. Every attempt to reason, persuade, or intervene is met with the cold, relentless logic of Victor's ambition. Yet even as his grip seems unassailable, the cracks in his empire, emotional, relational, and ethical, begin to widen, revealing the fragile humanity beneath the iron fist. The crescendo of tension in Genoa City reaches toward an inevitable reckoning where Victor's actions threaten to alienate those closest to him. Every character is drawn into the orbit of this crisis. Loyalties are questioned, relationships strained, and trust shattered. Nikki contemplates the unbearable choice of walking away from a man she loves but can no longer reconcile with her moral compass. Adam considers the boundaries of obedience and affection, weighing the cost of defiance against the weight of betrayal. Claire, Diane, and Victoria prepare to confront a patriarch who has overstepped every conceivable line, demanding accountability that may finally hold Victor to the consequences of his actions. And above it all, Jack remains a silent witness to Victor's escalating desperation, the quiet eye in a storm of ambition, betrayal, and fear. His eventual rescue may be inevitable, but the journey there is fraught with uncertainty, the stakes higher than ever before. The fallout promises to be epic, not just a test of Victor's power, but a profound examination of love, loyalty, and the limits of forgiveness. For Victor Newman, the question is no longer whether he will reclaim what he lost, but whether the price he has paid is worth the devastation left in his wake. Every move, every decision, every act of cruelty has brought the Newmans to a breaking point, and the consequences of this kidnapping will reverberate through Genoa City for years to come.